Hang on 1 second. It's just loading. Okay, we are live on YouTube now. Welcome, everyone. Let's go back to the markets. So, all right, prior to going live on YouTube, what I was talking about was the markets here, right? We were just completely going sideways in the early morning, and then boom, we got this. The report came out, and it was Matthew was talking about CPI. So it was down 0.1. So anyway, got a nice little pop in the market there. We got some reaction, but we came right back down to where we are. So we'll have to wait and see where we open, right? I mean, we were prior to that, we were just going to be flat, but we got a little bit of a boost here. We'll see if that can hold. Hopefully, between now and the next 26 minutes, we will start moving back up, right? Throwing in some like hammer candles here. So, uh, yeah, Jay saying IWM still moving higher. Yeah, so we'll see if we can bounce out of here and move up. Um, all right, so the Q's getting above 500 yesterday. That was good. Um, See if it can hold here. There was a RLT newsletter that went out this morning. I don't know if anybody saw it, read it, but just talking about the Qs hitting 500. Jeremy, predicting that at that level, there's going to be some type of a significant pullback in the next couple months. Anyway, if you haven't read it, it should be in your inbox. So go ahead and check that out. All right, let's get to some individual tickers. We do have some gaps that I found this morning. All right, Lauren, we'll check out snow. We'll do that right now. How's that? Let me go back to my other screen. So definitely some gaps. Delta, Delta came out with, I think, earnings got is getting hammered. So there's other airline stocks that are also down as a result, right? Just sympathy plays. So I'm gonna go over Delta and all those, but quickly I'll just mention, right? So if you're going to trade airlines today, pick one, right? Don't try to trade them all. Just pick one. You don't want to be overexposed to a certain sector. Okay. So all right. So let's start looking at some individual tickers. So I have this on NVIDIA because I do like how uh, NVIDIA again was just kind of going sideways. It got a pop along with the market. I like this hammer here. We're getting a nice little pullback here, some type of a bull flag, right? So we got to give this a 15-minute chart. Let me go to the three. I was looking on the 15 just to see where we could get some particular levels. So I like this move. We'll see where we open, see if it's going to hold, if we can get some type of a signal down here. I don't want to necessarily get in with, going off the high here. I'd rather get in down here somewhere and use this level as my stop. All right. So snow, I think that's what Lauren was asking for. Snow. All right. So, all right. So here we go. Snow, we look like we're going to gap up here, right? Now, here's the thing. Had a hammer candle here yesterday. We're gapping up. Let's just find out where the pre-market high was, right? We're gapping up here. So yeah, we're gapping up, but so this is where you have to ask yourself, right? When you are looking at the gap and you have to determine, okay, how good of a gap is this? Is this a really good gap? Is it just an okay gap? And it's all based on fear, right? Fear and greed. Is there these people who went short here, is there a lot of fear if and price that was the pre-market high, right? Price is down even lower now, I believe. Yeah. So price is somewhere, I don't know, in here. Not a lot of people are panicking at this point. The quality of the gap is if it can clear a pivot, right? So if it was clearing this pivot here, that would be a much better gap. And then also remember you have the here's the 50. right, on the daily. You have some room. You definitely have some room, but just be aware of that, right? I'll add snow to the list. We'll keep it on there. I think there's some better gaps, but we'll decide once we get closer to uh, the market open. But I'll tell you, well, let's just, before I move on from snow, let's just look here. This could be interesting, right? This is an obvious level of resistance, right? Right here. We do have, let me go to 15-minute chart. All right. So we have an obvious level of resistance. We have a level down here where we can put a stop. So I'm just going to drop a line in here just to have that. Question is, okay, so if let's say, just in theory, price hangs out here and we take a break above this, what I'm looking at is this would have to be the target. And we do have a clear, at least a 1.2, 1.4 to that target. So that's good. So that qualifies, right? Because I always want to make sure that I have the correct reward to risk if I set this up. And right now that would be, let me go back to 3-minute. Yeah, so basically we would be taking a break of this. So that's a potential setup. Let's take a look at SLV for Cheryl. Okay, SLV. Yeah, so I noticed SLV and there's a couple others. So again, I don't trade precious metals. Um, Also, it doesn't meet my criteria. It's got a ATR six 60 cents, right? I'd rather see something like an ATR of at least 80. But if you notice right here, see how it's gray, right? So I have my ATR is if it's below, I think if it's below 50 cents, it's red. If it's in this area between 50 and 80, it's going to be gray because that's kind of a gray area for me. And then 80 and above, it's going to be green, meaning it's good to go. So what do we have? I mean, we do have a gap and go. So I could break my rule about not liking to trade precious metals. Because we do have a nice gap and go here. And see, it's clearing. It's got to clear that level, right? I mean, it's great that it's gapping above these candles. I'd like to see it get above here. What is the high here? 28.75. All right, we'll leave this on here. I have just, historically, I have not had great experience with trading precious metals. That's the only reason. But I'll add it to the list, Cheryl. We've got it. You keep watching it. Let us know, if you see anything that you want to call out. Look at FSLR, FSLR, and so First Solar, and then also Sun was another one. Okay, so Sun was on my list as well. I'm not Sun, Run. So anyway, let's take a look here. So it's a higher priced stock, right? Love the ATR. Let's just see where we are gapping. And is the volume there? So the volume has not yet, doesn't look like it's hit that level that I like to see, the 10,000 shares. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see where we are gapping. So 237.70. All right. So as long as we're gapping over the 50 here, right? So the 50 looks to be somewhere right there. You want to hold that. Now, the way we could play this, okay, is let's just find out exactly. So 235.51, 235.51. Let's make that blue. So if this can move up here, right? If that can move up, we know we have that level here. If it can open up here, then maybe go in with a limit buy down here, stop down here. right? So down below this level here, I mean, you could go down here, but you know, you're cutting into your reward to risk. You do have the 20 here, right? That's right there. Again, the 20 on the daily, it's not going to be as strong as the 50. And if this can get some momentum behind it, so I'll put that on the list. Keep an eye on that. Who was oh, that was Jay. All right, Jay, you're gonna keep an eye on that. You're gonna let the team know if there's anything happening that you want to check out. All right. Yeah, so Pfizer, that was one on my list here that I looked at earlier today. So we do have where are we right now? So we came down. We want to for sure know where this high is, right? 30.02. We are opening right now, price level. Let's see where this, right? We got the 200 here. So that's at 28.61. And that's the 200 on the daily. Right. So we know that that level is there. Let's go to the 15 minute. Right. Only thing is this clearly was a clear level of rejection, 30.02 or 30.20. Okay. All right. At least we have that level to look at. 30.20. We have the 200 here. It is a retest gap, right? So we would expect it to retest. You know, maybe if it comes down and what's nice also is this level that we've identified here with the 200 is also the high of this candle. So we've got some decent levels to work off of. Don't really have much in terms of we'd have to go further back and look at price action, like stop maybe down here, right? We don't have we don't have a whole lot to go off of in terms of if it price does come down to the 200 here, we got to have our stop somewhere here. Right. So Pfizer's on the list. That was already on. Let's see. SQ. High 65.55. Right. So couple things, right? We have, yeah, it is a potentially a gap up, right? Gap and go, but you have here's the 100 on the weekly, here's the 50 on the daily, right? So we have some obvious levels of overhead resistance that it's likely to struggle with, right? So this level here, and you can see that the weekly, that's where price got rejected, right? So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Then we only have that much room to go before the next target. Would be, we have to wait and see if what kind of a setup presents itself, but there's not a lot of room. And even though it technically is a gap and go, right? For this candle here, it's not gapping above this pivot. If it was gapping above here, okay, much better gap. But it's just gapping into an area of resistance, right? So it's currently underneath the 200, and you have the 100 on the weekly. But look, you also have the 200 on the daily right there, right? There's a lot of overhead resistance. So not as nice of a gap as some of the others that we've looked at, but add it to the list. SGH. So what do we got here? So right. So here's what I'm looking at, Raja, is as I go over top of, again, I think I've shown you down here, right? Volume. I want to see at least an average daily volume of 500, right? Now, yesterday, what did we get? We got Yeah, 7 million shares. That's good. What was the, so yesterday it looks like it was a earnings gap. Okay, so they crushed earnings. So that was it. Now, here's what I normally expect to see on something like this. When you get a candle like this kind of a gap, right? Gap in a very strong candle, a lot of volume, strong close. I'm usually expecting to see that open and retrace somewhere between 20 and 30% down that candle, right? So what am I talking about? Somewhere, if I put on somewhere in that area there is where I'm going to expect price to retrace to. Now, also let's look at the pre-market volume, right? Pre-market volume is not good, right? Very little pre-market volume. So it may not gap at all. Now, that's fine if it doesn't gap, but just remember that this will likely, in my experience, retrace down into this area, and that's where you're going to look to want to buy it. Okay. So I'll add it to the list. We will keep an eye on it. And also, Raja, you keep an eye on it since you're calling that out and let us know if anything, if you see anything, but just keep an eye on that area right there, right? About a 20 to 30% retracement into that candle. Let's see, NCLH, Norwegian. And that was the other thing I saw today. Did you guys that there was a something in your inbox about Norwegian and Jeremy calling that out? So right now, where are we? So we are trading right near the low of yesterday. So where do we, yesterday we got this double top, right? Move here, double top. So it looks like it's pulling back slightly. Now, here's the other thing. Again, ATR, right? So when I'm looking at the tickers that I'm trying to, narrow down what I want to track and what I want to follow today, there's so many other good uh, either gaps or movers that, the point 0.6 for the ATR doesn't thrill me. Like there's so many better options in terms of better ATR, better look in terms of the move that it's making in the gap. So, so go ahead, keep an eye on that. That's your, it's what you're looking at. Let's see, let's keep going. AI for Cindy. It's AI. Good volume, good ATR. Let's see, are we clearing this pivot right here? That's going to be the key. See? So again, it's gapping, but for it really to be a good gap, it needs to clear this pivot right here. So the high of this, 3103. Right. So if it were to clear that pivot gap above that, that'd be great. So Cindy, keep an eye on that. Okay. Let us know. Because I've got a lot of tickers on my list right now that I keep track of. But let us know. I'm curious where this actually opens, right? It would be a much better gap if it was clearing this pivot right there. But we're underneath right now. Where are we in relationship to this candle? All right. So we're gapping above that if it holds, but we're still not gapping above there. So anyway, Cindy, you keep an eye on that. Give us the updates. PEP. And I've got a few others that we need to look at. This could be a nice gap and go. Uh, Interesting. This is not showing up on my scanner at all. I wonder why. Let's see. Good volume, good ATR, obviously PepsiCo. Now, the only thing just, with like PepsiCo, okay, there's certain stocks, the blue chips, right? Like IBM, some, other blue chips. They tend not to move, right? Like some of the other more volatile ones. Uh, we'll keep an eye on this. Let's see, 160, 66. So we're gapping below it. That's good. Um, I'm going to take a look at this on a, so we're gapping below that. We do have this level down here. I'm just looking at back to where it bounced previously. Um, oh yeah, that's probably why, because my gap scanner stops at $140. That's why. Yeah. Yep. All right. So PepsiCo, again, but the blue chips, historically they're not as volatile as some of the others, but keep an eye on it. Lauren, let us know what you see. I'll add it to the list, but I'll let you keep an eye on it. Let's see. Cost. Big, big ticket, right? Expensive. Um, yeah, it is would be a gap and go. Now, what's is there a catalyst? Costco target at 950. Okay. So here's what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking here, Joe, is this could have been the move, right? That was the move, came back down, came here. It's making lower lows, lower highs, right? This may not gap, but I'm going to let you keep an eye on it. Let us know. It's definitely a higher priced ticker, right? So there's probably a lot of people here in the room that wouldn't be able to trade that, anyway. But I'll let you watch it and let us know what happens. But I'm thinking that the move probably has been made. That's my guess. A firm, yeah. I have a firm on my list. Um, where are we gapping? So yeah. So here's what you need, again, the gap, right? A firm is nice. And I think you said 10%. I'm looking right now, I'm seeing it as 7.56 is the gap. But here's the deal, right? We have this, we have this, we have that, right? We've got a lot of overhead resistance and it's already up 7.5%. So I did have it on my list. It was there. We'll keep an eye on it, but it's already gapping a decent percentage. Doesn't mean that it couldn't come back down. We'll watch it, but you do have a lot of overhead resistance, right? Some major moving averages. Take a look at F. Okay. So again, Tim, I trade your plan. I wouldn't touch it because it's got a 30-cent ATR, right? Just I'd rather focus on tickers that have much better ATR and that are going to move versus 30 cents. That's going to be like watching paint dry. But again, your plan. Trade your plan, not mine. Feel free. Just, I that's why I have rules around the average shoe range, just because I've traded stuff like that before. You get into it, it's like an all day affair. It's like I don't want to be in a trade for several hours. I want to be in and out as quickly as I can and just make my money and move on to something else. All right. So some other ones that I have. Let's see if we can get to them before the market open. Let's see. Delta. Okay. So Delta earnings, it's a gap down, right? Big gap down. Look, what are we down? We're down 8%, right? So it's a little more than what I would want to see right now. Again, I like to see my gaps somewhere if they're gonna gap, some like 5%, something like that. Like once you get up to the 8, 9, 10, it's like, okay, has it already made that gap? And also, is it, going to be a bargain buy, right? But let's take a look at some of the other airlines, because there were a couple others that uh, were also. So ALK, right, would be a retest gap. We're gapping below this level here, 35.92. Where are we down here? 35. So we have this level here, right? That would be a target. We're So right now we're currently gapping to this level here. So it may not even move. I'll keep an eye on it. Pre-market volume looks like it's very light, right? So that may not even be worth watching. But let's take a look at then Love. That was the other one. So if we can gap below here, right? We're gapping above it. All right, so we'll keep an eye on Love. I would have liked it if it was gapping below this level. And again, just there's not a whole lot of bulls that would have been, trapped here, but it would be a retest gap anyway. We have a red candle. MU, all right, let's take a look at MU real quick. So we've got a lot on our list. So I am going to ask everyone to help keep track of everything. Call out anything that you see. It looks like the market just opened. All right, let me sign out of YouTube real quick. Appreciate you all being with us. Again, always feel free, come over to reallifetrading.com and join the community. It's a great group of traders. We do this every single day.